Alright, hello. Yeah, I guess I am just permanently late to my own stream. That is that is just the life, I guess. Hopefully y'all are doing alright. I have a midterm tomorrow, so I low-key need to be brisk today. Because if you remember, my deep learning midterm got moved from Tuesday to Thursday, and tomorrow's Thursday. And that poses some big problems for me, because that means I need to study again. So yeah. This is day 71 of studying compilers every day until I land a compiler role. Last time, what did I do again? We added function params to MIR proper. MIR? Yeah, MIR. And then we connected it from HIR as well. So now if we compile without optimizations, we have function params working. Good to see you, Neeraj. Hopefully you're doing. I'm doing all right. Hopefully you're doing all right as well. Yeah. So the only thing that's really left is first to fix the passes, because mem2reg does a little bit of messing around with things. It doesn't quite lower properly, I think, because it doesn't account for function params yet. So I need to do that. And then the only other thing is just to write a couple more tests, because tests are important to write, I guess. So yeah, we'll see how that all pans out. Yeah. So if we git log, yeah, we did that. We wrote a singular test, or at least we committed a singular test, but it's like kind of eh. So we can definitely do a little bit better than that. Now the question is, what part do we need to update for what do we need to update in terms of SSA construction? What's the most underrated programming language in your opinion? That's kind of tough, actually. Honestly, I feel like Java is kind of underrated nowadays. Like, I feel like it's not particularly great at any one task per se, but I also think like and it also gets a lot of flack for just like being a bunch of object-oriented slush, but I think it also has a little bit of inherent value just from that. Like I think it's a pretty good language to like learn programming, because it introduces a lot of concepts in a pretty reasonable way, and it still is like used in a lot of different environments. So it feels like people don't give it enough credit for what it is, at least. First time catching your stream, big C++ lover, but also interested in compiler development. I have some books on compilers, but wondering how you got started. First of all, welcome to the stream. Thank you for showing up. There's two books that I'm, I guess, like referencing here, but I'm not really like quote unquote following a book right now. I think crafting interpreters is like a pretty reasonable starting point, at least just to like get familiar with things. I don't really have an official recommendation for like a first compiler book to read, because most of my knowledge just comes from a class that I took like 2 years ago. So I'm kind of just like mostly rehashing a lot of that knowledge, but there's a lot of gaps in like the middle end that I've been filling with various books. I guess I will say there's a really nice reading list that I have somewhere. I forgot where it lives. Let me find it real quick. I think I have it pinned somewhere. No, I definitely don't. Yeah, okay. So there's this nice GNU reading list. Let me just open this real quick. Yeah. There's like a bunch of GNU developers. They've like read through a bunch of compiler books. They've given like their thoughts on them. This might be a good place to start, at least. I think it is, granted, a little bit old, so some of the stuff might be a little bit dated, but you can't really go wrong with anything that they recommend here, at least. In terms of what I'm currently using, can you post on the Discord? Yeah, I think it's already somewhere there. Let me just pin it again. the compilers channel. There's one, and there's two. Yeah. The books that I'm currently following, the first one is, where is it? Yeah, this is Mushnik book. I'm following this just for like the various different optimizer things that I don't know yet. And that I think has been a big help in terms of like helping me reason about things. And then the other one, because I think, because like I've been really interested in learning about like static single assignment form. It's this one. It's SSA based compiler design. And it is, well, completely about SSA, which I guess is not surprising, but it's really nice that there's a complete book about this at least, and that is just really cool to me, because this is like another, like these two I guess target the two areas that I wanted to like learn the most just through this project. I don't have any like official recommendation for like front end and back end of a compiler, but I think you should be able to find something in that reading list. I'm not sure if that answered your question, but hopefully that's at least somewhere to start. Feel free to ask more questions. Also, having this book up is very helpful for me because I need to figure out. So I guess mem2reg is all like SSA construction, so I need to figure out which part of this, which part of SSA construction will interacts with function parameters, because that's what we've added and they aren't registered quite properly, I think. So we need to figure out how to do that. Actually, maybe not, now that I think about it. Right, because this has a allocate and then it has an allocate and a write when we generate code, so this should be fine as is. Yeah, but this shouldn't be breaking like this, at least. So if I compile this with -O0, never mind the mess that it makes, but yeah, it stores 0 into 3. Wait, okay, something is wrong here. Oh, is the allocate in the wrong order? Going through writing a C compiler by Nora Sandler. Yes, that is the big one that list is missing, I believe. I've heard very, very good things about it, so I think that is a very good recommendation. Maybe I should look through it. Let me just add it to my personal. Let me add a note to acquire that book through some means, officially endorsable or not. Yeah, I hope to eventually make a library with all the nice compiler books and my thoughts on them, but it might take me a while for so many different reasons. I could not list them on my hands, at least. Okay, so something is definitely wrong with this code gen. I think these are being pushed in the wrong order, which is what is causing the issue. Let's double check it. Because we really shouldn't need to change mem2reg, at least. We're just like pushing default values to the allocate at least. This would be in here. Wait, what? Oh wait, this is not. Okay, we need to look in function. Sorry, function. Okay, I guess it's just here? Wait, what? Add parameter, okay. Okay, this is where we need to make the changes, I believe. Yeah, Okay. Yeah, so it turns out I did put the alloc after the store, which is, that's very unfortunate. So we're just gonna reorder this real quick. We're gonna rebuild, and then everything should work perfectly. C# is underrated, async awaits goated, and the object-oriented is amazing. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it just doesn't really carve out a niche though. Like, it feels kind of like a Java clone, or a little bit too much like a Java clone for me to really like understand it as an individual language. Like, it's not that bad to write, at least, in my opinion. It's pretty challenging. She doesn't give too much to go off besides minimal pseudocode, but still very fun. That makes sense. I think that is admittedly kind of how compiler books should, I guess, provide exercises. I think that's pretty good. Also trying to become more fluent in AR64. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, maybe I should write different backends for my compiler. That might be a interesting exercise in modularity. Python but compiled. That seems like it would make a mess. I can't quite put my finger on it tangibly, but I feel like it would make a mess in some way. I know that like there was one college compilers course that uses a subset of Python, I think. So it's definitely viable, but I also think part of the problem with Python is less inherent to the language and just more to the fact that like having an easier language will mean that an easier language means you have more people writing code, and more people writing code means you have more bad code put out into the world. And that's also kind of what happened with JavaScript, to be honest. I think as much as I shit on the language, I honestly don't think it's as bad as like people make it out to be. It's just like, I think the overall user base, or I guess like the community kind of, I don't want to say like decays, but like, it feels like the norm for the language is definitely lower standard than like C and C++ at least. Or like most compiled languages, but I don't know. That might just be like a perceptual thing. I don't have any like hard data to back that up. That is all just like my opinion. How long have you been using C++? I technically learned it my freshman year of college. I did like a couple projects here and there since then. But I've only like worked with it in a serious sense, I think, starting this past summer, which is also on this project right here. So, I guess I'm currently a senior, so that you could either say I've used C++ for almost 3 years, or you could say that I've only used it for like 4 months. I'll leave it up to your discretion as to which one you accept. Also, something is terribly wrong here still. I rebuilt, right? React makes your code a little more unreadable since it looks like a mountain range sideways. Yeah, I think readability is a separate problem. I think readability is intrinsic to the language because like that is kind of just how it ends up being. I think most tag-based languages do fall into that trap anyway, so I think it's like kind of whatever, at least in my opinion. Let's run O0 real quick. Okay, so these are in the correct order now, but something is still breaking when we run with optimizations. Or at least up here is fine. Something is wrong down here, and I'm trying to figure out what. What is 15? There's another alloc. And that is just 16. Okay, well, this is terrible. This is a very hard mess to trace. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong here. There's so many allocs. Yeah, this is what I get for telling myself that I'll just let the middle end clean up all of the mess from the front end. I guess it is what it is. So why is this broken then? So I forgot what the test I wrote even is. So we're gonna take a closer look at that. It's params? Yeah, okay. Yeah, this top one is like fine. We have a times b, we have, yeah, and then we add a again. Yeah, that's reasonable. What do you think about it? Do you enjoy it? Yeah, I'm a pretty big C++ fan. I think like it's got enough depth that I can enjoy writing code with it while also like I guess having to like think about problems in a like meaningful way, I guess. Like it feels difficult but not unfair, if that makes sense. Like there are some things that are like really stupid. Like there's a lot of like inheritance mess that is like always intrinsic with like object-oriented languages, or like just like a lot of various things that like are ambiguous, but it's like when you come across it you're like, oh cool, instead of being like, why is this language written like this? Like I think JavaScript is an example, like the perfect counterexample, or like an example of the opposite, where you come across a problem and you're like, that should not do that. Whereas like C++, I feel like it's mostly reasonable. Granted, I think Rust is a little bit more enjoyable just because it does all of that but a little bit better. But none of that really dings C++, I think. Like it came out of a different time, and for our programming languages understanding at the time it was created and all of the changes it's gone through, I think it's pretty reasonable to, I guess, have it as it is. Do you think CS is oversaturated? I think web dev is oversaturated. I think full stack is oversaturated. I think AI is sufficiently saturated, and I think cyber might be a little bit oversaturated. I think systems broadly is relatively undersaturated though. Okay, so what does this test do? It creates a problem. That's what it does. Why are these values disappearing? So 0. Seems... I'm not sure why this is breaking like this. Let's simplify the test a little bit, I think. Okay, so that is still not doing what I wanted to. Can I just... Okay, we're gonna keep this test as is. We're gonna make a new test. Let's do that real quick. Or let's do like int foo, int a, turn a plus a, turn foo 1. And then let's give it temp.c. That is a lot of mess. Okay, so we store that into that register. This seems a little bit insane, but reasonable. Yeah, so we load it twice. And then... Oh yeah, we store it twice, as in we load it twice. And, okay, all of the stuff up here is fine, at least. I think that lowered correctly. Yeah, that does exactly what we want it to. So then why is this broken? That is what is confusing me right now. So we load the thing, or we store, yeah, we store one into it. Oh, wait a second. Okay, wait, we allocate, we load, we call it with the thing we loaded. Oh wait, I think I know what's going wrong. Yeah, our mem thread is not handling calls properly, I believe, or we're not replacing uses in calls properly, I think is where we're going wrong. Let me elaborate. So in utils we have this erase uses thing and we have this replace uses thing. These are two visitors. If you're not familiar with the visitor pattern, I'm not gonna try to explain it right now because I'm going to do a terrible job explaining it. But basically what this is a class that you can run visit on each type of instruction, and depending on the instruction, I guess this is like an external form of dynamic dispatch, or dynamic dispatch external to the class, I guess, is like the most simple explanation I can give. And what this does is we have old value and we have new value, and then in each of the instructions it's called on, it replaces old value with new value, and that's pretty straightforward. There's erase uses, which I mean, I guess is self-explanatory. It does a similar thing. It turns out we have new uses to worry about because the call has each function parameter in the call is, or function argument in the call is a use that I forgot to do something with. So first, that also means we need to update instruction at least, the constructor. Yeah, this means this also uses things now. We can't really, we do need to update the arguments. That's really annoying. Okay, I'm gonna take a second to rechat. I need to think about this as well. Yeah, I think like C++ definitely does span a lot of different fields. I don't think any of them are really that oversaturated though. Like I think quant is perfectly saturated. I think embedded is it seems pretty reasonably saturated. I think game dev is like unfortunately perfectly saturated just by like I feel like it could be so much more, but the entire industry just relies on bleeding developers' passion at least, and that makes me really sad. Yeah, I think like I also think like all the really saturated parts of CS I think are relatively easy to vibe code out compared to everything else. Like if you look at where most of the AI hype is living, I think most of it comes from people looking to do web devy things, whether it be like full stack or front end. But I don't really see a lot of AI hype in other areas, simply because I think there's just not enough training data. And in that sense, I think that kind of mirrors how saturated, in air quotes, every market tends to be, at least. Visitor pattern, use visitors to perform and describe behavior code, can be used in the middle and for error generation. It's also useful for a lot of other things. Like, I guess like, both my analyses and my transforms all use the visitor pattern. So I guess like pass is, actually no, they don't. Some of them utilize visitors, which I guess are erase uses, replace uses. I've already showed those. Yeah, but I guess you can expand its functionality broadly just to like externalizable dynamic dispatch in a sense, because like if you think about what needs to be done to like to add like a replace uses function, you can either go through the entire like class list and then add like add an implementation of it in each class, which causes a lot of clutter, or you could separate it out into its own file and use a visitor. And that's kind of the idea behind it, I think. The point is, I guess, like separating responsibilities better, at least. That's my understanding, at least. Yeah, I can't really give like a good explanation, unfortunately. It's been a second since I've like thought about it very thoroughly. Okay, so let's take a closer look at this again. Yeah, we need to register uses again. So if you look at like binary op, for instance, left and right are value uses, so we need to set those as uses. Now we have a new list of values that we quote unquote use here, so we need to set those as uses as well. So for each val in arguments, we want to add use arguments, or wait, no, val. Okay. And what type is this? This is a value putter. Okay, perfect. What's good, Fortnite Gamer? Good to see you. I think I figured out why my memtoreg was not working properly. So I'm currently fixing that up. Yeah, okay, so we have that, and then so that adds the uses. I don't think we need like, do we need setters? We might need a setter. Okay. Oh no, we have get arguments. We can update like that at least. Because these don't need to take indices at least, so that's fine. Yeah, okay, so we don't need to change anything else in instruction. We need to change like all the use things, the use visitors and utils. So erase uses in call. So we want okay. So val in I get arguments. We can just do the same thing in reverse, I think. So we can just do del, or yeah, we want I del use of val. So that deletes all the uses, and then we're gonna need to iterate through it similarly in replace uses. So here, instead of del use, we need to make a bit of a mess. So if val is old value, or we can get rid of these braces at least. Okay, so we wanna, yeah, we need to do this a little bit by hand. Also, is this fine? Wait. No, something is wrong here as well, I feel like. Something seems sketchy. I think we need to mess with the uses there as well, right? Something seems off. Something seems off about that. Because that's a setter, so we need to delete. We set uses in the fee, right? I really hope we do. Oh, okay. It looks like we don't. Okay, so we do set it because I think we call set predecessors? Yeah, because the constructor doesn't take all the basic blocks, it looks like. Yeah, this doesn't take that, so this is fine. Yeah, so that's fine. We just need to change this now, I think. So this should be set predecessor. So my basic block, and then new value. And that also fixes everything, I think, while making our code a little bit prettier. Here we might have to do this by hand. I don't think breaking the encapsulation matters that much, at least. Yeah, so we want to delete the use of that, and then actually we need an iterator, I think, because we're mutating this. So we want I get. All right, let's try this again. Auto args equals I get arguments. I can't type. That should be a semicolon, not a comma. Okay, so we want, let's just do this in a reasonable way. Auto val equals deref iter. So we want to delete the use, and then I want to add use, new value, and then how do we update the thing at the iterator? Do we just like iter? Oh, that's a const, okay. Can I just set this to just new value? Okay, it looks like I can do that, so yeah. Do you by chance try it off stream? I did not have time, unfortunately. I like woke up at noon today because I was incredibly tired. And then I've just been in classes and then studying for deep learning. So, unfortunately, I have not been able to. This still breaks. Interesting. Why do you use NeoVim? I feel fast with NeoVim, and it's also, it just feels more portable than a lot of different, a lot of other IDEs or code editors at least. Also I get to say that I use NeoVim, and that's always the #1 benefit. And also I just like really enjoy using command line stuff, so it just seemed like a pretty reasonable fit for me at least. Is there colon key ruined from NeoVim and scope res operator? Not really, to be honest. It's no more ruined than it would be just from normal semicolon use at least. Does this work? Okay, I guess that doesn't work. How do we do this? We could probably just do a linear search. We already do a linear search. What am I saying? We literally do a linear search. I guess we would have to check everything anyway. So I don't think it's that bad to do a linear search, at least. But it's still like yuck. Erase uses I think is fine. Do I do this for fee? Yes, I do. That's value putter. Is it possible to change the value at the iterator? Oh, okay, yeah, so this does work. This should work. So then why doesn't it work? So we do it like this, that still does exactly the same thing. Yeah, so we store it. We're only running memtoreg. Huh. It's probably still something in call then, because this is still handling the parameters perfectly fine. So maybe I'm not replacing the uses properly? This is a ref, right? Oh, wait. Wait, that might be it. We might have figured it out. If it was me forgetting to make a ref, it was me for... Okay, all good, all good, all good. Yeah, so in case you weren't following, this is what I had before. This makes a copy. And that is not good because then we don't actually change the thing that we want to change. So by making this a reference, it doesn't make a copy anymore. It is just literally what is in here in the instruction. So now I actually update it in the instruction. So now this does work exactly how we want it to. If we do this just without that, yeah, okay. This one works perfectly now. Yeah. So let's. What did I change in the front end? Oh, I see. I forgot about that one. So this one we reorder or fix ordering bug in HIR to MIR with function params. I have to format it. Whoops. Okay. It's this one. Yeah, okay. That. Wait. What? Why was that there? Wait, what? Is that just local? That makes no sense. Newest project or game just crashed my entire Windows. That is messed up. That is evil. Yeah, that shouldn't have a semicolon there. Also, this should just have a new line like that, yeah. Oh, what a mess. Okay. What the fuck? Huh, Okay, well, let's add that again. Next, we want to middle end update uses for function calls params. Okay, so then let's get rid of this, the temp file. Okay, so now we can add more things to the test. Where are my tests? I'm getting lost in my files again. Great, okay. I think I should update the mem to reg thing real quick. Let's give it... this is pretty basic, I think that's fine. Should give it x, or int x like this. We don't need that anymore. And then this should also handle that properly, I think. Yeah, okay. Some tests will break. Some tests should break. The mem to reg ones, yeah, that makes sense. The params one also makes sense, yeah. And then, okay, mem to reg fails again. Okay. Real quick, let's just like run the thing on mem to reg. Yeah, that does what it looks like it doesn't do what we want it to, but it does what we want it to. Yeah, this comparison is fine. Okay. So then, so let's run tests, regression, and then the test generator. So let's add all mem to reg. Update mem to reg tests with function param. And then last one, we need to update params real quick. We should make this somewhat more interesting at least. Fun1. Yeah, fun1. Giveaway ended today, so gave the person who won the key to gave the person who won the key Fallen New Base. Nice. Yeah, that's a really fun game. I've played through it 2 or 3 times. It still ages like fine wine. Let's give it A, int B. Let's give it something more complex. Let's do something with like 4 params as well. What do we do here? What would be interesting? Oh, we could do like a little comparator or something. So if A minus B. So if that's not 0. Yeah, so if that's not 0, then actually no, this is not. We don't have good comparators yet, so that wouldn't work. Hey Golfone, love your stuff. I'm a junior CS major at Illinois State. Ooh, fun stuff. I'd love to know your thoughts on course load. I think at least, I'm not sure if you're asking about like where I go to school, but at least here it feels like you can, it's kind of like what you get is what you put into it. Like you can either elect to take a relatively light course load and take like notoriously easy classes, or you could like delve deep into systems and theory and like actually spend the time learning. And both are like perfectly valid. It's just you have to like adjust, you have to like set your targets accordingly, I guess. Let me know if there's anything you want me to elaborate on in that regard at least. So let's just do something interesting here. Oh, right, I lied. We can't do anything interesting. We don't have the... Damn it, okay. Return A plus B times A, or A times A plus 2 times A times B plus B times B. I don't know. Oh wait, we could nest the function call real quick. Fun1 of A. I'm gonna give it 2 times A times B, and then fun1 of B. Yeah, we love math. Do you currently work as a student, just looking for a compiler job, or just searching in general? Currently I'm a student, so I would like to find a job. That would be great, but yeah, it would be. that's the ambitious goal at least. Worst case, I do have another sweet job lined up. It's just dream-wise, I would very much like to work on compilers. Yeah, I think compiler jobs are relatively senior in general, but there are also like plenty of internships for it at least. I think there are definitely a lot of ways in. I just have to put way more effort in than I currently am at least. Yeah, maybe I should put more effort into that. Yeah, well, I have an interview tomorrow and a couple OAs to do still, so we'll see what happens. I've just been putting things off for midterms at least. Okay, so we have these two, and then let's do an interesting one. Int A, int B, int C, int X. And then return fun1 A times X. All right, no. A times fun1 X. We're just gonna be boring with this, I guess. What does it work to mean in compiler? Yeah, no worries. I guess I probably should, that's a sign that I should just be more clear about it in general. So what a compiler is it's a program that translates from a programming language to another programming language. So like for instance, the compiler I'm working on right now translates a subset of the C programming language into x86-64. But it doesn't necessarily have to be like a language to an assembly. Like there's also like, I think like a C to Python compiler exists, for instance. A compiler role is, I guess, just a job where I get to work on them. Work on these pieces of software, these wonderful pieces of software. No bias whatsoever. Yeah, that's kind of just like the short explanation. Let's get rid of these two. Okay, so we want to translator for programming languages? Yes, spot on. Do you hand roll out your own backend or are you using something like LLVM? Currently, the answer is neither. I could technically just like hand plug everything into LLVM because I think my IR looks pretty much like LLVM just without any like useful remarks. My plan is to start the backend by hand this upcoming week, which I've been putting off for a really long time, and I've like tried to put off for like this week and last week, but I'm hitting the point where I'm like running out of interesting things to like add at least, which is why I've been doing all this front end push, and then like it aligns well with like midterms because it's like relatively straightforward. It's just kind of like a lot of stuff to do, but the backend I do like actually need to put a lot of thought into because it's a little bit scary. So Yeah, feel free to follow along with me, I guess, starting next week. I don't know what I'm gonna do up to that point to fill the time, but we'll see what happens, at least. This seems so much more fun and a better learning experience. Yeah, exactly. There's so much software engineering that goes into it. I think that is what made me, I guess, start enjoying compilers, just like seeing how various different fields, various different, like, I guess, pods of computer science sort of come together and, I guess, go into compiler theory. So that's really cool. I do want to get to know LLVM. Yeah, I think LLVM has a couple of tutorials at least. They have, their front-end tutorial is pretty well polished. I think there is a work in progress back-end tutorial though. Was it here? No, it wasn't this. It was this one. Yeah. Yeah, you can steal this yourself as well, I guess. I think this seemed pretty in-depth. I haven't tried it myself, but yeah. This could be good to follow at least. It seems a little bit less organized than LLVM's front-end tutorial, but I think it should be fine at least. Okay, how do I want to test these calls? Let's just return fun one of like 5, I don't know. Bar. Or we can just do like call 1, call 2. Yeah, this, I guess we could just stick all of these in here now. We can do like int foo, int bar, turn fun 2, foo bar. All 3. This will take foo and bar, but we'll plug in C and X as like constants here, I believe. So we can do like turn fun 3. Let's give it like foo bar 1 and like screw it. Let's give it 0. We love solving for the roost or something. And then the other thing I want to test was doing things with this function call. Actually, this might not be very interesting. What is a compiler role? It is a job where I can work on compilers, compilers being programs that translate between program languages. Good luck, thank you. Yeah, we can... What are you working on? I'm still working on the same compiler I've been working on. Right now I'm just writing a couple of tests, so I can, I guess, evaluate the output to some degree. More tangibly, at least. Let's give this like 10, because we like 10. Yeah, we can do this. This might not fold as we wish, but yeah, I guess this might be a good start at least. Oh, I should add inlining. That might be fun. Okay, anyway. Let's just run the test generator. Where did that go? Here. And then git status has more things as expected. So let's look at the output real quick. Yeah, okay. All of this is exactly as we remember it. HIR, this makes a mess, but I assume this is all correct at least. MIR is where it gets interesting. It looks like it uses these correctly. Maybe I'll give it some passes at least just to look at. Yeah, these are uninteresting at least. yeah, these all just disappear into the register, and life is good at least. Why are you using Windows? Because I have a Valorant addiction. There's no other reason. My laptop runs Arch. If Valorant ran perfectly fine on Linux, I would be running Arch on my PC as well. Unfortunately, it does not exist on Linux, period. So I do need to deal with Windows with that. With that being said, I am running WSL Fedora, so I at least get to use Linux utilities like a normal human being. Let's see, that does what we want it to. This does what we want it to. And then a lot of this gets cleaned up later anyway, so that's fine. And call 4 is the interesting one, I think, right? Yeah, so this gets stored in 2, so we'll load from 2 again. And we should sub from that, okay. Yeah, okay, nice. This one, this call, you love to see all the loads in front of it. That means you've done something correctly. Yeah, and then it handles all of these properly, so yeah. We just have a lot of allocate bloat, which is unfortunate, but inevitable. Git status. Let's rebuild all tests. It passes all the tests. Yippee. So let's add everything. Update params tests. Alright. So hopefully we should be able to... I guess that's pretty much everything I want to get done for today. So if I zoom out here, we will see a lot of other stuff. Iterators are out of scope for this current branch that I've been working off of. For and do while I don't want to do, so we're gonna leave those for a future date. Maybe those will be done during finals week. We'll have to see. Postfix, increment, and decrement also falls into that bucket. I'm just too unbothered to really... I just don't see a reason to add them without for loops, at least for now. And then these two other things are also out of scope, so I guess I could move these up. And then that makes sense. More front end. Easy front end functionality. Let's just rewrite this a little bit. We have for, do while with tests, and then for, do while. Are there YC startups looking for this role? I haven't looked too closely. I imagine not, because at least reputation-wise, I think most of it just falls into... I hate saying this sentence, but it falls into like AI, B2B, SaaS land. Yeah, well, if it exists, then like I imagine it'd be like at later stages at least. Like I know there are a bunch of smaller tech startups that do have like proprietary compiler tooling that needs work, but at least in this whatchamacallit, at least within the pile of YC that I have looked at, I haven't found anything. Yeah, so let's get rid of these. Okay, so we have that, we have iterators, and then we can simplify this real quick as well. Key reduction and simplify conj branches. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna hide that again real quick. The last thing I want to do today is see if I can get my branch merged in, which I should be able to. Surely it passes all checks. I would be very surprised if it didn't. Yeah. If it wasn't obvious, I've been working on this whole pile for a while now, at least. There's a lot of mess that we have gone through here. Including a force push, because why wouldn't there be a force push? So many commits. Yeah. It passes the check, which is good. Let me just update this real quick. Let's edit the... Yeah, there's the button. Parser upgrade... Parser overhaul. I guess. Not overhaul. It's gonna be... God damn it. Okay, that's just stuck there now. Large parser upgrades. So we added proper expression parsing. I need to split compound by hand. Add opt levels to compiler. Minor ergonomic changes everywhere, or across the board. Add function parameters. Add a whole lot more expression or operators, unary and binary. I think that's most of it. Number IR. Okay. Alright. Now we can rebase and merge, and everyone is happy. Okay. And now everything is in main now. We have 300 commits here. Holy hell. Also real quick, let me just go to my profile real quick. This nice little contributions map. If you wanted any motivation to start working on personal projects and you haven't been working on them, this is like the perfect motivation, because the map looks so good. It looks so good. Yeah, if that is like probably the biggest inspiration, I think. And at least for me, it's like whenever I feel like I don't want to do work, I just look at this and I'm like, damn. I'm like, yeah, this is all just like all of the work I've done up to this point. I should keep the train going. And yeah, it's just so cool to me. I don't know. Let's see this run real quick. It takes longer to build now because we have way more template mess, but it's not that bad, surely. Yeah, while this builds, I think I'm gonna call the stream here. I really need to study today because I have a midterm tomorrow. It's my last one. I also have an interview tomorrow, so I need to prep for that as well. I'm so doomed. It's gonna be a good time. Is this fine? Yeah, 0 tests failed. That's good. Yeah, thank you all so much for showing up to my stream, especially if you've been here since the start of today, and I guess even the start of when I've been streaming. If you like the stream, make sure you sub to my channel and like the stream. It really helps out with the algorithm and helps get my content out to more of you. While you're down there, make sure you join the Discord. That is the best place to get pinged when I go live and chat with me and the broader community outside of stream hours. And yeah, I guess also connect with me on LinkedIn and add me on GitHub to stay up to date with what I'm doing. Also, all of my stuff, all of the work I've been doing, and all my dot files are on my GitHub if you're curious and you want to like lift anything. Yeah. Take care, y'all. Take it easy, and have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are.